Today's class we're going to discuss about the SAP users. So basically in SAP there are two types of users. One is the end user and the other one is the consultant. So we're going to see where the SAP user works and where the SAP consultant works. So SAP end user basically works on the SAP easy access screen and the consultants works on the SAP SPRO screen. So the SAP end users performs their day-to-day transactions, as in they post the accounting entries, they do the reporting and all on the SAP easy access screen, and the consultants on the SPRO screen do the configuration. So let's move on to the SAP screen and let's see the SAP easy access screen and the SPRO screens, and we'll also talk about the basics of the SAP screen. Okay, so let's move on to the SAP screen. Okay, so you can see this is the SAP screen. So on the top we can see the menu bar, then we have the command box, then you can see these tools. These are basically the tools bar, the icons which you can see, these are basically the tools bar. We're going to discuss more about these options, how it works. Then we have the SAP menu bar, where you can see there are different options available under the menu section. And then we have the favorites. I will talk about the favorites also, what and how you can use the favorites. So the favorite is basically used to add the T codes, the transactions codes, which are you're going to perform on a daily basis, right? So we're going to discuss about the favorites as well. And okay, so let's move ahead. So in SAP you can see this is basically the SAP easy access screen where the SAP end users works. Okay, so for the SAP FICO users, so they need to go on to accounting, then financial accounting, then you can see they have the option of general ledger, then postings. So you can see these FB50, or let's suppose F-02, or these options which you can see, these are called the T codes, right? These are the transactions code. So this is the T code and this is the description of this T code. So if you click on this T code, you would land up to this option, this page. What does it say? So it says enter GL account. So you can post the GL entries using this T codes. So if I click on this T code, let's suppose if I click on FB50, it will take me to this page. I have to enter the company code, is asking for the company code. So let me enter any of the company code. Okay, and let me go ahead. Okay, so this is basically the FB50 screen. So once you double click on that option on the T code, you would land up to this page. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so this is basically the T codes wherein the SAP end user would work, right? You can click on any of the T codes which you want to perform. So for incoming payments, you can click on this option and you would land up to the incoming payments page, so wherein you can input all these options and you can perform the transaction. So basically this is the activity which is performed by the end user, right? For the outgoing payments, you can simply click on this option and you will end up to the outgoing payment process page. Okay, okay, so let's move on to the next option. So this is basically the transactions code and this is basically its description. So you can simply come to this page either executing these options and you would land up to this page, or you can simply enter any of the T codes which you want on this command box. This is basically the command box. You need to simply enter this any of the T codes you want to land up to on this command box page and you would land up to that page. So let's suppose I went to the FP50 through this option, and simply if I type it here F dash, let's suppose for incoming payment 06. Okay, and if I hit enter, so you can see I'll end up to this page. So basically you need to know the T codes. If you know the T codes, you can simply click that T code in this command box and you would land up to that page. We would be discussing more about the T codes. What is a T code, how this T code works, what are different types of T codes which are used in the FICO module. We're gonna discuss in details about the T codes, the transactions code, okay, in the upcoming classes. So this was about the T codes. So let's suppose if you go to documents, you can uh, use these T codes for park documents. You can these transactions code. So basically these are the transactions code. T codes we call it in short, but these are the transactions code. So either you can come through this path or you can enter this T code in the command box and you would land up to that page. Okay, so this was all about the menu options. So there are many options available in the accounting sections. You have postings, then you have document account, master records. For reporting, you can see the end users can use the reporting options. They have the other submodules as in accounts payable, accounts receivable, banks, right? For incoming, for outgoing, all these options are available. So they can execute either through the path, they can come through this path and they can execute the T code, or either they can simply execute this 4 digit in the command box and they would be able to land up to that page. So it's very easy, right? Once you are using it, you would be you would know how to execute these T codes, and I will share the list of transactions codes which are gonna used on a day-to-day basis when you are working on a live project. Okay, so this is one option when wherein you can come to uh, these transactions. Let's suppose if you want to come to these transactions, you can use the path and you can come to this option, or either you can simply enter the transactions code in the command box and you would land up to that page. That was one option. Okay, and let's suppose if you are frequently using any of the transaction, so you can simply drag this option to your favorite sections. Favorites is basically a folder wherein you can keep your favorite T codes, so that you don't have to come to this path again and again. You simply can go to the favorites and you can simply execute that particular T code. So let's suppose if and execute FB50 on a daily basis, so I would simply drag it and I would keep it in the favorite section. So you can see this is available there now. So if you want to use FB F-004, I will simply drag it and I will put it in the favorite section. So you can see it's very easy that I am able to keep these options, this transactions code in the favorite section. So simply if you want to execute any T code, you want to use any T code you use on a daily basis, you can simply drag from that option and you can simply keep it on your favorite sections. So one of the options is you can simply drag it from the steps which are here on the from the path. Let's suppose if you want to use any of the transaction, any of the T codes, you can simply drag it and you can keep it on your favorite section. So favorites is basically, you can see a folder wherein you can keep all your T codes list, so that you don't have to come to this path. So now if I kept these many transactions under the favorites, so I know that these are the transactions which I'm going to use regularly, so I don't have to go to this path. I will simply click on this option and I would land to this page. So let's suppose if I click on F-07, so you can see I would land up to this page. So it's very easy, and it's good that you keep your transactions code in the favorite section, so that you don't have to come to this steps. You can simply click on the favorites and you would land up to the page wherein you want to perform your transaction. So one of the option is to simply drag it from here and you can keep it in the favorite section, and the other option is on the favorites on the top. You can simply go and you can add any of the transaction which you want to add. So let's suppose if you go to favorites, you can add, okay, the position exists, the menu tree. uh, okay, so here insert transaction, so here you need to click on insert transaction. Okay, So simply click on insert transaction, and if you know any transactions code which you want to add in the favorite section, so you simply click that transaction code. Let's suppose if I click FB60, and if I hit the OK button, you can see the FB60 is added here, and I would be able to execute that. I could simply enter the company code, I would hit enter, and I would land up to the page. So it's very easy. It's very easy. You can add any of the transactions you want under your favorite sections, under your favorites folder. You can simply click on favorites. Let me tell you one more time, right? So simply go to favorites, click on insert transaction, and you simply click the T code which you want. Let's suppose now if I want to execute FB70, and I click either click on continue, or you can hit enter, you would see that you have got that transaction code under your favorite section. So this is how you can add the T codes under your favorites, under your favorite section. So that this was about how to add the T codes into your favorites, and now we're going to discuss how you can remove it. Let's suppose if you don't want any of these T codes into your favorite section, so you can simply click here, and you can click on delete favorites, so you can simply delete it, so that would get removed from that section. So you can, so now you know how to add and how to remove any of the T codes from the favorites. Okay, so we were discussing about the favorites. Now let's move on to the sessions which are available on this SAP Easy Access screen. So basically there are 6 sessions which you can open on the SAP Easy Access screen. So this is the one session which is open. So you click on a create new session, and you simply click on it, so it will open a new session. Okay, so you can see this is a new page. So if you have 6 pages available, so maximum you can open 6 pages. So 6 pages if it's available, so you can perform all the activities on all the 6 pages, right? So in the same way, like if you search anything on our web browser, so if you click on the next tab, next page, so we are able to access anything on any of the pages. In the same way here also, if there are 6 sessions available, so you can perform any of the activities on any of the 6 sessions. So I have opened 2, and let's suppose, let me click one more, it's 3, then it is 4, then I have opened 5, and then I have opened 6. Okay, now it says maximum number of sessions reached. So I have opened 6 sessions on this SAP Easy Access screen. So you can see on my screen there are 6 sessions available open. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I've opened 6 sessions, and if I want to perform anything, I can perform in any of the screens. So you can perform any of the transaction in any of the screens, right? So that is one of the best thing I can see, I must say, on this SAP Easy Access screen, right? So you can perform any of the transaction in any of these sessions. So maximum you can open 6 sessions on this SAP Easy Access screen. So one more time, let me tell you that this is the screen where the end user would work, right? In the beginning, I said there are 2 types of users. One is the SAP end user, and the other one is the consultant. So now the screen which I am, you're able to view, you're able to see. This is the screen wherein the SAP end user would work, right? And let's move on to the next option in this toolbar. So okay, so we have the customized layout option. Okay, so let's see what all options are available in this customized layout. So in this customized layout, you can click on options. So you would land up to this page where you would be able to customize the screen as per your requirement. So you can increase the size of the fonts, you can change the layout of the screen, you can change the color of the screen. So this is basically customize layout screen wherein you can change the visualization of the screen as per your requirement. You can customize it, right? So you can see these are options available. So themes. So now we are on the SAP signature theme. So if I click any other theme, so it will change the theme of this screen. Okay, so we're not going to change the theme. Font settings, like you change the font size, so you can change the size of these fonts, you can change the design of these fonts. Okay, so branding is here on this screen. You can see this blue water kind of thing. So here you would see the logo of the company. So if you're working for any of the company, let's suppose if you're working for Tata or Reliance or any big brand or any small companies who are having SAP, so they would keep their logo on this screen, so you can add the logo as well. So that is not basically done by you, that is developed by the ABAPer, right? We're going to discuss more about the ABAPer, right? There are other consultants, the basis consultants, we have the ABAP consultants, with whom with together we are going to work in any of the projects. Okay, color settings. So here you can change the colors in the system. So there are different colors which can be changed. Okay, so color, you can change the color as well, right? Now I don't see the options to change the color. So basically there are options where you can change the color as well. Okay, so it's giving me an error here. So basically you can also change the color. So now it's in blue. You can change the color in purple or in any other color, you can change it. So these are the actually the customizing options. You can customize the screen as per your requirement, as per your convenience. You can change the layout of the screen. So this was uh, the option which is available here, which is the customized local layout. So you can simply click on the customized local layout. You can simply go to options, and then you would be able to see these many options. So this is basically the customizing option. You can customize your screen as per your requirement. So let's move on to the next, and let's discuss one more option which is available here, which is if you go to extras and if you go to settings, so click on settings, so you would see these four options available. So these are four options which is available on this screen. So first of all, let's see the first option, which says display favorites at the end of the list. So now here you can see the favorites is on the top and the SAP menu is in the second. So here it says display favorites at the end of the list. So these favorites would come on the bottom and the SAP menu will go on the top. Let's apply this. Let's click on it. Let's see what it happens. Okay, so now you can see the SAP menu has gone up and the favorites has come down. Okay, so again we'll move on to extras. We'll go to settings, and here if we gonna remove this option, okay, if we're gonna remove this option, display favorites at the end of the list. So let's click on apply and let's see what it happens. Okay, so now again it has come back to its normal stage. Now again we have the favorites on the top and the SAP menu on the bottom. So let's again click on the extras, go to settings, and we would see the next option. So it says do not display menu, only display favorites. So when we click on this option, it would only show us the favorites. It won't show us the menu screen on this SAP easy access screen. Okay, so let's click on this option and let's see. Okay, so now when I select that option, you can see you would only be able to see the favorites on the screen. You won't be able to see the SAP menu on the screen. Okay, I think that's very good features, right? So these are basically the activities which can be performed by the end users. The consultant is not required to perform these activities. The screens which I have showed, the customizing options, the favorites, these options, the settings options, that can be performed by the SAP Easy Access screen. because this screen is basically accessed by the end user. So they would be having the access, they would be able to perform these activities which I'm performing right now in front of you, and right now on this screen. Okay, so again, if I remove this tick and if I click on this option, so again it would come up back to the same option. Okay, so let's move on to the third option. Let's see what does it say. So it says do not display picture. If I click on this, as there is no picture available right now, so if there would have been any picture on this screen, let's suppose if there would have any picture here, so if we would have clicked on do not display picture, it would have removed that picture. Then again, if we would have removed that this option, it would have displayed that. So this is how this option works, right? So basically this display option is for the display of the logo which is reflected on this screen. Okay, now let's move on to the fourth option, which says the display technical names. Okay, so remember I have showed few options when we were discussing about the transactions codes. Okay, so these T codes are basically the technical names. Okay, so here now you can see there are no technical names available, there is no T codes. So where earlier we can see FB50 and other T codes on the screen, but this is not available now. So we go to settings, we click on display technical names. If you click on display technical names, it would show us the technical names, the T codes, the transactions code which we would be able to see now. So now we are going to accounting, say financial accounting, say general ledger, posting. So now you can see these are the transactions code which are available. So if we click on, let's go to extras, then settings, and if you click on the display technicals name, if you click on this option display technical name, you would be able to see these technical names right in front of the description which is available on the SAP Easy Access screen. And it's not only for this, for any of the transactions code which is available there, you would be able to see the technical names once you select this option display technical names. So these are the basics, these are the very basics, assuming that there are students who are not at all aware of the SAP Easy Access screen. There are users who are working as an accountant or they have never seen the SAP Easy Access screen. And so this is for those. Now with this class, I hope you would get an idea about how the SAP looks like and how the SAP Easy Access screen looks like. So those who are going to work as an SAP end user would be able to perform on this SAP Easy Access screen, right? Next, we're going to discuss about the SAP SPRO screen, where the consultants would work, right, and how the configuration settings are done. We're going to discuss about that on the SPRO screen. Okay, so that was a basic overview about the SAP Easy Access screen, how the SAP Easy Access screen looks like, and how and where the SAP end user would work. Okay, so once you complete your SAP FICO module, so either you can choose an option to become an end user, or either you can choose an option to become a consultant. So if you choose an option to become an end user, and if you get selected as an end user, so you will be performing all your transactions on this SAP Easy Access screen. Okay, and if you are selected, if you want to go with the profile of a consultant, so you would work on the SAP SPRO screen. So next we're going to discuss about the SAP SPRO screen, how it looks like, and how and where the consultant performs the configuration. Okay, so let's move on to the SPRO screen. So to move on to the SPRO screen, so first of all we simply need to click the SPRO T code in the command box. So simply click SPRO on the command box and hit enter. So once we hit enter, we would land up to this page which says customizing execute project. So simply click on SAP reference IMG. So IMG stands for implementation guide. So simply click on IMG. So once you click on the IMG, you can see these are the options available. So here, not only FI, there are other modules, there are other consultants who works as in the FI consultant, the CO consultant, the PP consultant, the MM consultant, the SD consultant. There are all other consultants. There are all many other modules available in SAP. So for all the modules, the consultants would land up to this page for doing the configuration. Okay, we will discuss more about what all are the different types of modules available in SAP, and what all are the different types of uh, projects we have already covered in our previous classes. So on this screen you can see that there are many options are available. So depending on the consultants which you are, either if you are a FI consultant or a CA consultant or SD or MM consultant, so depending on your profile you would be working on these options. As now we are discussing about the FI, so for FI, on the configuration part I will be covering the entire configuration from end to end, from the enterprise structure to the GL, AP, asset creation, AR, and what all are the sub modules we are going to cover all the modules in our class, right? So let me just take you through the SPR screen. Let me just introduce you the basics of the SPR screen, how the SAP consultant would work and what activities they're going to perform. So this is basically the SPRO screen wherein the consultant would work. So let me take you through the T codes which are available here. So on this screen you can see these many options are available. So simply if a consultant would do a settings of the enterprise structure, they would simply click on the enterprise structure, then they would go to definition, then they would go to financial accounting, and you can see these are the options available for doing the configuration of an enterprise structure. So here under the definitions they would define the company, they would define the credit control area, the business area, they would define it. Once they are done with the defining of the enterprise structure, they would do the assignment. So they would assign all the different all the options which were defined under the assignment options of assign company code to company, company code to credit control area. So they would do the assignment. So this is the first step of the configuration which is performed by the SAP FI CO consultant, right? So either they can path, they can come and they would do a configuration through this path. So they would come to enterprise structure, they would go to definition, and they would go to financial accounting and they would define it, right? Or either they can use the transactions code the same way which we see how the SAP or end user would work with the help of the T codes. In the same way, the consultant will also perform the configuration with the help of the T codes, the transactions codes. So here, that on the additional information, so how you can see the T codes, so you can simply click on the additional information, go to additional information, then display keys, then IMG activities. So you can note it down these options if you are new, and if you want to learn the configuration, so you can see the path, you can note it down if you want. So it's the additional information, then display keys, then IMG activity. So you can simply go and you can follow this path. So if you want to see the transactions code, so either you can come through the path or you can see the transactions code here and you can execute the transactions code, so that you can land up to that page. So simply go to IMG activity, and once you click on the IMG activity, you could see the list of transactions code right next to these options. For defined company, you can see the T codes. For credit control area, you can see the T codes. So the last four digit, which is OX15, is the T code to define company. The last four digit, which is OB45, is the T code to define the credit control area. The last four digit, which is OX02, is the T code to define the company code. So if you want to do the configuration, right, so you can either come through this path or you can simply click on the T code and you can land up to the page. Okay, let me just show you one example. So let's suppose if you come through this path and if you have clicked on define company. Okay, so once you click on define company, so you click on new entries, you would be able to see this is the configuration which you need to do to define a company, right? So here you would define the company. So you came through the path and you'll end up to that page. Okay, the next option is you can simply click on the T code, which is OX15. So I already told you that you can land up to that page by simply executing the T code in the command box. So for me, the T code to define a company is OX15. Or let's suppose if I want to define any of these options, any of this configuration option, I would simply click on any of the last four digit from these letters. You can simply click the last four digit on the command box and you would land up to that page. Okay, so let's suppose if I have to define company, I would simply click OX15 and I would land up to that page. So already we have 6 sessions open, so let me click any of the session and you would be able to see that I have landed up to that page. So in the command box, let me click OX15. So I have typed in OX15. I would simply hit enter. So you simply click OX15 is the T code to define company, which we have already seen in the SPRO screen. Now we are going to do the configuration. We are going to create the enterprise structure, and the first step which we are doing is to define the company, and we are defining that company with the help of the T code, which we are going to execute in the command box. Okay, so I have opened a new session and here I'm gonna execute the T code OX15 in the command box, and I have entered the T code and click enter and after entering the T code. Okay, so see, you can land up to this page. Simply click on new entries and you would land up to this page and you can define your company. Let's move on to our SPRO screen. So this is all about the SPRO screen. So I have overviewed about the SAP screen, how the end user would work, how the SPRO consultant, the SAP consultant would work, the SAP EC access screen, and we have discussed about the SPRO screen. So that was a basic overview about the SAP EC access screen and the SAP SPRO screen. So in the upcoming classes, we would be discussing more about the configuration. So in from our next classes, uh, we would be knowing how to do the configuration for the enterprise structure, for the global parameters, how we would define the global parameters uh, from the SAP FICO side, how we would do the configuration of the AP module, AR module, asset module, banking. So what all are the submodules which are available in the SAP FICO, controlling, budgeting. So we have a lot more to learn in the SAP. So we would be discussing all these in our upcoming classes. So for today, we are so today we have seen the SAP Easy Access screen and the SPRS screen. So hope you would like this video, and if you like it, kindly share and subscribe my channel. So thank you for watching.